Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you can hear me. I'm trying to keep my voice down because boyfriend is upstairs still asleep and this is a secret video. I thought I would share some more of my sewing that I've been doing. So I've made a couple of tops for boyfriend's birthday. So they're both the Metro men's t-shirt pattern from Liesl and Co, and the first one that I've made is this short sleeve t-shirt. Which, as usual, is really difficult to see on screen, particularly now that it's a men's shirt and men's clothes are massive. I mean, I'm just so used to clothes being like super skin tight and tiny as a woman, and I'm not even that small, and he's not that big, but men's clothes just always seem huge. Anyway, so this is the short sleeve version, and then it's the same pattern but with long sleeves. This is the long sleeve version. Which is even harder to show, and it's all grey, so you can't really see any of the detail, not that there's that much detail. The pattern is fairly straightforward. It's just a front, a back, two sleeves and a neckline, so there's only 5 pieces. I do find Liesl and Co patterns to be a bit confusing. Their instructions, I've used a couple of their patterns now for this and a couple of other projects, and even though they should be quite straightforward patterns, like there's not that many fastenings, obviously there's no fastenings in these t-shirts, there's not really that many moving parts or anything, for some reason I just find their instructions really confusing, and the written instructions are quite confusing, and then the pictures, there's not enough pictures, because that's what I'm kind of using, because the written instructions are a bit like baffling my brain. Anyway, I managed it. The green one is the one that I made first, and it's turned out okay. I think that the construction and the sewing is a bit neater on the grey version, which is probably because it was the second time around using the pattern, and I was also able to do it all in one go because I had like a chunk of time at the weekend where I could just get the whole thing made in one go rather than doing it in little bits in the evening, which I was with the green one. I had to spread it out across a couple of days, I think. I used cotton spandex jersey from Minerva Crafts for all of the fabric, but the grey fabric is really, it feels really nice, and I was kind of surprised. This is what I still don't understand fabric at all, clearly, because it's all the same type of fabric and it's all from the same place, although I know Minerva Crafts doesn't necessarily make the fabric, they just stock it and sell it, but from what I could tell from the website it's basically the same thing, although I didn't investigate fully. But the grey one feels thicker, it's probably just like a slightly heavier weight. It just feels like it's going to be warmer. It also feels like smoother and softer to touch, so I'm glad that I kind of made this in the long sleeve one, although boyfriend doesn't tend to get cold very often, so he doesn't tend to wear long sleeves or jumpers, but if he does wear a long sleeve he'll probably just wear this and nothing over the top, where I'll be wearing like 5 t-shirts and a jumper and a cardigan and a coat. So I really liked that grey fabric. It feels really nice and warm, and like I said, I think the sewing was a little bit neater on the grey one, so I like the grey one a little bit more, but then the pattern is more fun, I guess, on the t-shirt, although boyfriend doesn't really like fun patterns, so he might find it a little bit too wacky. But I just couldn't stick with a plain colour. Like, I like colour and I like pattern, and I like, if it was me it'd be like florals and stripes and 17 different colours, so I toned it down as much as I could for him. Hope he appreciates that. I hope they fit. It's for his birthday, which is actually in a couple of months. I'm making this quite far in advance just so that they're done, because his birthday is the end of November, so it's in the lead up to Christmas as well, so it's kind of a busy period. I wanted to get them done kind of out of the way, and so I can pack them away in secret and hide them, because I do my sewing in the living room, so it's pretty, like, you could just walk in at any moment and see them. Thankfully he's not that observant, so he has walked in a few times and just not realised what I was doing. I totally can't remember how I started that sentence. So hopefully that made some kind of sense. But yes, they're made. They were made with jersey. I used my new rotary cutter. This one is Fiskars. I think it's like a slightly smaller one. There was an option to get a bigger blade, but it was a bit more expensive, and I wasn't really sure if I would like using it or how it would work out. I think it did work. I was really finding when I was making some skirts a couple of weeks ago that when I was cutting the fabric out, it was really distorting the fabric as I was cutting, because obviously you have to slightly lift the fabric off the table to get your scissors underneath, and I was just really finding that it was really pulling the fabric all over the place, and I was struggling to get like a straight line or keep tightly in to the edge of the pattern piece as I was cutting around it. So I decided to go with the rotary cutter because I've heard, particularly for jersey, it really helps. I don't have a mat because the mat was too big to buy and carry home, so I have like carved into my craft table a little bit, because I feel like you do have to put quite a lot of force and pressure on it to actually cut through the fabric, so I'm not sure if the blade is necessarily sharp enough, or if I'm just not used to using it. Obviously that means I'm cutting into the table, so I don't know if it would just work better with a craft mat underneath as well to protect the table, which is just my craft table, so I don't really care, but to protect the table, it would actually make the cutting actions better and smoother, and I wouldn't have to put quite as much force on to get through the fabric, because I was noticing that I was cutting and it didn't cut necessarily all the way through, so I had to go back over some areas a couple of times, and that meant that it wasn't very neat or straight edge. But I think it did kind of work. I don't have any pattern weights, and like I said, men's clothes are really big, so the pattern pieces are all much bigger, and my table is actually quite small. Like, it's quite wide, but it's quite narrow, so it fits nicely in the corner of the room, which is a plus to having a small table, but it just means that the fabric, I can't fit all the fabric flat on the table, so it all hangs down the back of the table or the front of the table, whatever. And with jersey fabrics and stretch fabrics, that's obviously stretching them and distorting them as you cut, so that is an issue, but I don't really know how to get around that because I can't physically fit the fabric on the table at the same time as cutting it out. So I'm hoping the rotary cutter will help a bit, and I do need to get some pattern weights because I was just using like my phone and books and things to hold down the pattern pieces as I cut round, which did actually kind of work, but I think pattern weights were better, but when I was looking at them online they just seemed kind of expensive. Anyway, I also used my walking foot on my sewing machine, which I tried to use before when I made another project with stretch fabric and I struggled a bit, and so I tried it. I didn't use it on the green one, on the green t-shirt. On this one I just didn't bother with it, and I think possibly I even had my regular needle in the machine as well, because when I came to make this one, I put the walking foot on, and then I also switched the needles to a ballpoint jersey needle, which is supposed to be better. Now I did still find that when I was using my zigzag stitch, it was dropping some stitches and it would just sew a straight line, which doesn't work very well with jersey and like clothes that you would need to stretch to get them on, because then you end up kind of ripping in the stitches and they break, because the zigzag stitch would stretch whereas the straight stitch doesn't. I don't know why it does that. It just does it sometimes and it's really annoying. I do find jersey still really a lot harder to sew. Just stretch fabrics a lot harder to sew, but the walking foot did seem to help, and I do quite like watching it because it kind of like pulls the fabric through with like little teeth. It's like chomping the fabric, which is quite fun to watch. I do think it holds onto the fabric better, and so I do think that worked using that on the grey one, which probably is one of the reasons why I think sewing was a little bit easier for me. But yeah, those are the two tops that I made for boyfriend's birthday. If you've used a Metro pattern or any Liesl and Co patterns and you have any like thoughts or tips or anything, or if you also struggled with them, please let me know below. If you've got any tips on sewing with jersey or stretch fabrics, please let me know below as well, because I do find it hard. Sorry, I just dropped my microphone. It's like balanced on my knee. Yeah, if you have liked the video, please give me a like, and if you'd like to see more, please do subscribe.